Hello everyone, we are from Group 2. Today, my group member and I would like to summarize about what we have learned in ESC3020 Environmental Fieldwork Techniques. Before we continue this presentation, let us introduce ourselves. My name is YICHEN, matric number is 208778.
Hi, my name is Noor SYAFIKAH binti Zaini with metric number 209047.
Hello everyone, my name is NURAIN MAISARAH binti Mohamed ROZI with matrix number 206837.
Hi, my name is RIHHADATUL with KAMARUDDin. My matric number is 206451.
Hello everyone, my name is NURIN NAFFISA binti GHAZLIZAM and my metric number is 209050.
Hello, my name is FATHIHAH BAKAR and my metric number is 20711.
Hello everyone, my name is MASHITAH binti ISMAIL and my metric number is 209016.
Hi, my name is Noor ASHIKIN binti OTHMAN with metric number 206652.
My name is AQMARINA binti ZARIN with metric number 206043.
Okay, now let me start this presentation. So, what is environmental fieldwork techniques? For your information, it refers to people's investigation, exploration, measurement, and excavation in the field. But the data collection technology of fieldwork includes measurement, count, mapping, sketch, interview, and questionnaire survey. So that's all from me. I will pass to my group member to explain about the experiment that we have already done.
Okay, thank you, New. So the first experiment that we have already done is the determination of total suspended solid. This experiment has been done in order to determine the total suspended solid in the water sample and to find out the water quality of the water sample. As we know, the total suspended solid are a substance that is larger than 2 micron and will not dissolve completely in water. So in order to do this experiment, first we need to collect a various type of water samples such as river water, drinking water, tap water, and drain water. Next, observe the color changes of the water sample for 4 to 5 days. So how can we know the result? First and foremost, you can get the result by observing the color changes of the water sample from day to day. If there are color changes occur, that means the water sample is contaminated. When the color of water sample change and become more darker than the original color, it means the water sample have high total suspended solid. Therefore, we can conclude that the water sample have a high total suspended solid and low water quality if the water sample change the color from clear to yellowish or brownish color. Okay, now I will pass to the next presenter.
Thank you, SYAFIKAH. Now, I would like to share more about what we did for this turbidity experiment. So, what is this experiment about? It is all about how we measure the water clarity that is determined by the amount of light scattered by the suspended solids. From this home experiment, all you need is water sample, container, and also labeling paper. We use excess water from potted plant, rice water, and also powdered water, which is flour plus water, as our water samples. It is really easy for us to conduct this experiment. So, how to know the result? The experiment need to undergo 4 to 5 days of observation and measure the concentration of the water. We use the X marks as the indicator, and when it can be seen clearly, meaning that the turbidity level is really low. The conclusion from this experiment is the turbidity of the water is affected by the concentration of the pollutant in the water, which means that the higher the turbidity, it might come from silt, algae, or mud. So that's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Okay, thank you. So the next one is pH indicator. pH indicator can be made at home using any plants that contain anthocyanins. Anthocyanins are the pigments that give bright purple or blue plants their rich coloring. Red flowers like red hibiscus and red rose, blue plants like blue chicory, and purple plants like purple sage and common violet contain anthocyanins. Some of these flowers are traditionally used as folk medicine, colorants, and food. For this experiment, red cabbage and butterfly pea are used because they are rich with anthocyanin. How to prepare? The color needs to be extracted from the plants. For red cabbage, it can be either boiled in hot water or blend them with some water. For butterfly pea, the color needs to be extracted by boiling them in hot water. The red cabbage and butterfly pea water are used to indicate the pH of a substance. White vinegar, lime juice, ginger juice, baking powder, sugar, and water are used in this experiment. The color changes according to the pH of the substance. Thank you. Now, next presenter.
For this experiment, we used two types of food plants, which are red cabbage and telang flowers. As we can see the result, the color changed when we mix with selected food items. In discussion, when red cabbage leaves are boiled, anthocyanins dissolve into the liquid. Anthocyanin molecules change color depending on the pH of their surroundings, so they could be used as a pH indicator. In conclusion, telang flowers and red cabbage are rich in anthocyanins. Vinegar and lime juice show that the presence of hydrogen ions when the color of red cabbage changes to red. On the contrary, baking powder shows the presence of hydroxide ions and turns the color of red cabbage into blue. Lastly, we can use this example to make a homemade pH indicator. So I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to share my experience doing soil determination experiment. Okay, so what is the purpose of the experiment? So this experiment is to identify the type of soil collected from our backyards and compare the soil texture based on the physical characteristics and soil particles. So what do you need? First, you need a ruler to measure and record the height of each layer and the total height of the three layers. Next, you need a permanent marker to mark the layer. Then you need a clear jar with a tight lid so that it will be easy for you to shake the soil solution. Besides, you also need a shovel or anything to dig the ground with. Lastly, you need to have a dish soap to put inside the jar together with the soil. So what to do? First, soil sample from different locations were collected and placed it inside the jar. Then fill the jar and add a little bit of dish soap into the jar. Then the jar will left for 1 to 2 days for the soil to settle. After a few days, a layer of soil was formed. So I will pass to Aish.
So next. So how to determine the type of the soil? First, we can calculate the percentage of sand, silt, and clay that exists in each soil by dividing the height of each layer with the total height and multiplying it with 100. Then we can refer to the soil texture triangle in order to identify the type of the soil for each sample. As we can see the sample here, after 2 days of observation, 3 layers of soil have formed and can be seen in the container. Then we can calculate the percentage. After refer to the soil texture triangle, the percentage of sand is highest compared to the clay and silt. So the type of the soil of this sample is sandy loam. So to conclude, this experiment can be used to determine permeability. We can see sand has the highest permeability while clay has the least permeability. Sand is the largest of the mineral particles and creates large pore space that improve aeration, while silt soil is a mid-sized soil particle. It has good water holding ability. And lastly, clay soil is the heavy soil that benefits from high nutrient. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Okay, next we come to the geological measurement. And what is this experiment about? As we know, in field geology, they are used to obtain a fresh surface of a rock to determine its composition, nature, mineralogy, history, and field estimate of rock strength. There are two important measurements when gathering the data, which is the stride and dip. Stride is the horizontal direction in the beds, which is the compass direction of a line marking the intersection of an inclined plane with a horizontal plane. For example, is the Earth's surface. And then is dip. Dip is how much the bed is tilted in degrees from flat, which is the maximum angle between the inclined plane and horizontal plane. Dip is also measured perpendicular to stride and has both an angle and a compass directions. Next, in geological measurement, in geological measurement, we need to know how to draw a stride and dip on a map. Firstly, we need to draw the stride line with the orientation from 0 to 300 degrees. And then when we get the correct orientation, we need to use our left hand to follow the left hand law. From that, we use our index finger, point at the correct orientation of the stride line, and then we can measure and record the amount of the dip, which is from 0 to 90 degrees. When we get the degrees, we need to put it at the tip of the dip line. Here are a few examples from our previous lab exercise about geological measurement. That's all for me. Let's move to the next part.
Alright, thank you. If you look closely, you will always find something, animals and plants, with your address. Therefore, in this biodiversity backyard experiment, we intend to employ appropriate biological field measurement techniques and collect data on biological parameters in the field. Because most of us have limited backyard space, we choose to directly observe the animals and use the quadrant method with thread and wooden planks. As a result, we discover many creatures such as frogs, cats, and various types of grass. We then compile all the information we had gathered on in our biological inventory table. The most crucial aspect of the experiment is the calculation of biodiversity index. We decided to use the Simpson's concept, which states that the lower the index value or close to 1, the greater the diversity in one's surrounding. According to the observation of 3 backyards, A, B, and C, backyard B has the highest biodiversity with index value of 0.83, followed by C, 0.77, and finally A, 0.74. The different index value here show that there is influence of the environment such as temperature. Differences between the experimental regions, urban and suburban, have also a minor impact on species abundance. To summarize, it is critical that our surroundings remain as diverse as possible because biodiversity helps to save plants and animals from extinction by allowing wild creatures to remain wild. Next, I'll pass to the next presenter.
The next experiment I want to talk about is home waste segregation. Domestic garbage is the disposed material produced by families. As for the data, we choose to do the experiment for 2 days. First, we divided the household garbage into 3 types: recycle, compost, and waste. Then, weigh the weight of each can of garbage collected every day and record the data. Of course, garbage sorting probably handles the garbage in our life, keeping our environment green and clean. It also can reduce environmental pollution and the consumption of nature resources. That's all for my part. I will pass to next one.
Okay, so in conclusion, all of us do agree that each of these experiments was successfully performed by our group even without a complete equipment such as in a laboratory. And then we're also looking forward to this experiment using more adequate and precise equipment like in the lab later on in UVM. And then the skill that we learned while conducting this experiment will be used in future either for physical lab or for our occupation later on. Next. Okay, before we end our presentation today, we would like to thank all the lecturers that involved to teach us for this course in this semester. That's all for us. Thank you.